Good morning and welcome to my live stream. I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host, and here we are to fight CPS. To fight CPS. And of course, hang on to your children or get your family back together again. I've been doing this now for over 2 years, and I had a little break during the months of January, February. So I really uh, want to um, help you in this matter regarding CPS. Now, what I call CPS is the Child Protection System. It's a government entity that social services has in every county and every state. It's also worldwide. I have over 30 countries that listen to me. Just the last couple of days, I've had a lady from Scotland, uh, Heather Stewart, and she said today that she's going to call in. So hopefully we get to hear about her story. I had some regular people like Lisa Bartley um, from Idaho. No, Montana. I'm sorry, the wrong city there. It's so hard. There's lots of people that I have in here, and she has a really bad case where they closed her case, but she has no visitation. It's like they've written her out of the whole thing. It's CPS can be very confusing, very complicated. I too was a victim of CPS. I had three of my children kidnapped and abused in the CPS system. That's another sad part. Children are still constantly abused. And it was wrong what they did to me and my family. And it's a long story, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. But let me take my name down right now because I'd like to talk a little bit before we do phone calls. Um, you know, it's very important that the children are with the biological parents because those are the most studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents. Now, what has happened is that maybe there's been a hiccup or something that they have encountered. And um, uh, things like that can be corrected, even if it's a drug problem. There's a program that social services offer that's a treatment program, and you can take that program and get better. Also, there are tests and stuff. Now, excuse me one moment while I blow my nose. Excuse me. Okay, there we go. Now, I work for an attorney. His name is Vincent W. Davis. And one of the things I like to do is have you know that you can talk to him and he may help you. The number to reach him is our office number. It's 888-888-6582. 888-888-6582. And the numbers repeat again on a little example down below. So that number 888-888-6582 is shown on the bottom. And I have a number that you can reach me here live. All I ask you is you give me your name and your location, and then we can talk about your case. It should be about CPS, not about politics. I know we all like to talk about politics, but right now it's really rough anyway in this world. So my number to call in is 626-698-0990. Now, if you're outside the United States, our country code is 01. So you dial 01-626-698-0990. I'll also put my email address up there. If you wanted to send an email or share something for me to do it. I've been reviewing Lisa's um, from Montana, her case and her paperwork, but they completely written her out, which is really tough. Now, my attorney, Vincent Davis, works, his office is in Arcadia, and he works out of LA County. His typical retainer for LA County is $5,000. His hourly rate is $550 an hour. Now, the rates for the retainer, their rates are based on the complexity of your case, how long the case has been going on, and how far away your case is from his home. Now, he will go out of state. He'll fight in other states. He'll get his license activated in that state. There's a cost there to activate the license, because he doesn't have license for all 50 states because he can't be in all 50 states at once. So he only does it there. There's also the air transportation and ground transportation and accommodations and um, food, and then there is, as I say, that license fee that are on top of his retainer. So it is a little bit more expensive to go, uh, like say to Wisconsin, about 125,000 for his retainer. That'll get him to Wisconsin, but he's one of the best attorneys there. And you're probably saying, "Oh my goodness, the money!" Yes, that scared me too, because I had to hire him. I had to quick sell my forever home. That was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. I had worked over 45 years for that home, and losing the home was really tough. Now, I'm a dinosaur, yes. I'm 76 years old. I've been working for 61 years. I've been fighting CPS for over 15 years. It's going on 16 years fighting CPS. I started in 2010, and my kids weren't released to 2015. They were taken in 2015, released in 2017. I'm sorry. So my court case was about 2 years old. And hi, Lisa Bartley. I'm so glad to see you. And we have a new person here. I don't think I've seen before. Rachel. Rachel Stokes. Glad to meet you. You currently have a case in San Bernardino County. Okay, that's close by. I know San Bernardino County. Where I'm located at Surf City, south of Los Angeles, the west coast of California. I'm 3 blocks from the ocean doing this live stream. But I've had lots of cases in San Bernardino. So, Rachel, if you'd like to call in or text me your questions, I'll gladly try to help you. Lisa, I haven't quite finished your court papers. But one thing I do notice is that they completely left you out of the picture. I don't know if you were confused because you're fighting a criminal case and thought you didn't have a CPS case. You are the biological mother. You have a birth certificate that proves that your son, who just turned 5, happy birthday to your son. You have a right to visitations. You have a right for them to discuss. And somehow the biological father got his attorney to somehow, I don't know if it got you confused because of your criminal matter, but the child protection is a separate matter. It's done by 2 different courts. The criminal is in criminal court, and that's done by a prosecuting attorney in your city or your county, and they somehow thought there was a criminal matter. So I'm glad you got the criminal matter dropped, but you still have a CPS case. You have a right to go there. And what you need to do is you need to write or need to get a hold of CPS and tell them that you're the biological mother, that somehow you got left on it, but there's no visitations in the court order. You're supposed to have some type of visitation. And what's happened for all the listeners out there, last time she saw her son was at Christmas. She was seeing her son on a regular basis, but it's really been hard on her. She really has been really hard. So, Lisa, I'm here to help you. We can walk through this. If you want to call, you're perfectly welcome to call Lisa, and we can talk about it up there. Also, same thing goes for you, Rachel. You can call me too. You can call me too. That sounds good. That sounds good. Um, so for all your new listeners and my regular listeners, because I have a group of about 50 people that I've talked to over the past few years. Lisa's been with me for years. And so I'm glad that you're still here because I'll try to help you. I'll try to help you. And I will share what happened to me in my case and the rules I've come up with. I've come up with about 4 or 5 rules that will help you fight. If I had those rules, I would never lost my children. Now, I'd like to, uh, uh, I'm leaving it open right now for anybody that like to talk. Um, so feel free to do so. But I will talk about a lot of things. One of the most interesting things that I've learned about CPS is ICWA. That is the Indian Child Welfare Act. There's a lot of Native American Indians that their children are taken and they're not returned to the families. That's been going on since the 1870s. All right, we got a call coming in. these Okay, that was Rachel Strokes from San Bernardino County. And she shared her story with us about her deal with CPS in San Bernardino County. She's going to contact Vincent W. Davis to see if he can help her. And so she's going to call the office and try to do there. So this is what I do is I try to listen to you guys, try to help you, and try to understand your case. I try to help you and understand your case. And now it's half past the hour. We still got about a half an hour left. And I like to talk a little bit about CPS for somebody that don't know what they are, what they do, and anything like that. Um, so the situation with CPS is that they're a government agency that started in the 60s. They had some laws in the 70s, and in the 80s, the 90s, and the 2020s, the 2000 years, they have gone into a money making business. I'm sad to say, their whole thing about watching out for children is all about money. You see, there was a law passed that that um, that social service would protect their children from neglect and abuse, and that's how they started the child protection system. It's supposed to protect them. The problem is they found out money is more important today than anything else, and there's a lot of corruptness. Not all social workers, not all um, child protection systems are bad. I'd say it's roughly about a 50-50. And that's hard because you don't know the good from the bad. You don't know the good from the bad. Now, how social workers get involved is they will get a phone call from either a layperson or they will um, get one from a professional. These are the two kinds of people that report abuse or neglect. Now, abuse can be physical or emotional abuse. Physical is like excessive hitting of a child with let's say a board or a branch or a belt that leaves welts. That is physical abuse. Also, shaking a child, especially young children, you never want to because their brains are developing, or slamming a child against the wall, that's physical abuse. Have them stand on rocks as a form of punishment is a physical abuse. Now, neglect is when you don't feed the child or take them to the doctors when they need to go to the doctors. You don't take them to school and you do not have supervision. Lots of things you can neglect a child on. So, those are the two forms. Now, when a professional calls, they're supposed to be trained. But with professionals, they're 50% right of the time. 50%. Now, professionals are your doctors, your nurses, your school teachers, your counselors, your administrators, your caregivers, policemen, and firemen. They take a special class. They learn about how to recognize child abuse and child neglect. And then they call in. They know the procedure to call in. Now, call in should go to 911, but a lot of people will talk to CPS directly or the police. Their things get lost and translated. And if it's a bad police or bad social workers, things can go wrong for you, especially if there's if they see you in a condition that maybe unfortunately you're not supposed to be in that condition, or the condition of the home and things like that. Because um, you know, you never I have some rules, and one of them besides getting an attorney is to not let your door be opened. Don't answer the door. You don't have to answer the door. A lot of people think they have to. And a lot of people are shot and killed. I'm sad to say. that is another danger. Also, a lot of people are robbed. People come to the home and rob and kidnapped. We have a woman in Arizona that's been kidnapped, and it's been a terrible, terrible 2 months with her. So you never know. So my rule is that you never answer the door. You can equip your door with a camera. They're inexpensive today, and you can see on the video who it is. And if it's a policeman in uniform or a social worker, then what you need to do is contact an attorney right away and get a hold of them and find out what the issue is. But make sure you're with a lawyer because a lawyer will protect you. Now, going back to attorneys, it's very careful and um, um, how about now, Lisa? And it's Mr. Pace. Okay, Lisa, I'm trying again. I'm not sure if I take a call. I use Vonage, and I'm not sure by me still having the show live, you can hear me talk on Vonage. I don't know. I'm trying something different now. For the phone call, and I use Vonage for people to call in. But maybe running Vonage and live stream at the same time on um, the same computer. Well, it's not a computer; it's my phone. I'm doing this right now at the moment. My computer is getting a part ordered that's going to repair it. It's not working at the moment. It's my power supply. It went out. My power supply went out. So anyway, Lisa, hopefully you hear me now. Hopefully you're hearing me now. I'll send it again here. Sometimes things move slow. And I know that we have technology, but anyway, you can, you want to be on my show as a guest. I'd love to have you as a guest. I'd love to have you as a guest. All you do is send me your name, phone number, and location and email, and I'll help you be a guest. I'll get a hold of my show producer, Grace, and she'll set up you to be a guest on my live stream. So if you want to be on my live stream, I'd love to have people live on my live stream because then we can talk very easily. We don't have to use Vonage. Vonage is a nice program, but it's separate from StreamYard. They're not together there. So when I have Vonage, my computer's operating, then you can hear it from my phone. Thing is, I think with the phone and Vonage going at the same time, StreamYard and the Vonage going at the same time, it doesn't. You can't hear me. Maybe you can see me, but I don't know if you can hear me on that. I need to check into that further. I need to check into that further. Um, it's now we have about 15 minutes left of the show, and I was talking about dealing with CPS. Now, you never know with CPS um, who they are or what they stand for. They're supposed to protect your children and be fair and honest with parents. Because again, parents are the best people for children to be raised as the biological parents. And the foster care, there's a lot of foster care out there that are bad. I think 50% of the foster care people out there are bad. I'm using a 50-50 because I've heard most every phone call, everybody comes in foster care bad. So would that be 100%? I don't know. We have a lot of CPS systems in the United States. For instance, I think in North Carolina, there's 100 counties. In California, there's 50 counties. So that means there's 50 CPS systems. And the sad part about CPS, there's no board of directors or supervisors. There's no check and balance. Money is paid by the federal government with no questions to the state, and the state in turn pays the county. All it does, the county says, I have 10 children at $20,000 a pop, they'll send them. If there's special needs, they get additional $10,000. Why I know all this is because I too um, had a CPS case, and I've talked to people, and they've shared me, whether they're in Richmond, Kentucky, or up in Wisconsin or New York. I hear it all from across the country. And so when I talk to people across the country, I've talked to one social worker in Maryland, one. And I say I've talked to over 2,500 people from around the country, around the world, who said nothing but negative things. So maybe those 2,500 are the worst. But there's 1,000 cases supposedly that go unreported every day. There's 1,000 children that are being missed that should be talked about. Child trafficking is at a high time, very high. I live in an area that is high in child trafficking. There's also adult trafficking too, such as that grandmother in Arizona that was apprehended. And for all I know, she could be down in Mexico. Now, I don't know what an older person value wise, but a lot of people are still good and able to work later in life. But it's an area that I don't quite understand. But we have a system besides child protection system. We have adult protection system, APS. There are adults that are abused, and there's a way you can call in on them too. Again, it all starts with 911. That's the call you should make. If you want to report child abuse, it's 911. Reason why I tell them is that they'll keep a record. You call into CPS, you may get a crooked CPS entity. Same thing with the police. Go 911 because they'll have a record. And that way it will protect you. It will protect you. Now, I'm trying to think. I don't see too many people writing me questions. So I'll keep continuing on talking. I'd hope that you all would start writing questions or calling in and me trying to help you through this. Try to help you through this. And CPS is not to be trusted. They take funds and they take money and they lie. They're not responsible. They don't care about a mother or father or about an elder person. They seem to have all lack of that. Now, my case was a terrible case. I lost my job in 2010 at age 60. Well, I think I was a little bit older than that. I think it was 65. Anyway, I started getting calls from CPS accusing me and my wife of not feeding our children or protecting our children, neglecting our children. I did not know that my in-laws, my wife's mother, father, her three sisters and brother were calling in once a week because they wanted our children. We had three beautiful children. And in 2010, I had a 10-year-old son, and um, I had a daughter that was 8 years old. Um, and it wasn't, and I had a young son who was 5 years old. So they were young children at the time. And my in laws wanted them. So um, they would make up lies. And so I'd meet with a social worker. At first, let them in the house. I would meet with them outside in their car. I'd show them the house. We had a beautiful home, my forever home that I had to sell to fight to get my children back. It was a 4-bedroom home. Each child had his own bedroom. There was own bathroom. They were upstairs, and there's nice living area, swimming pool in the back, a yard to play in. They went to great schools. There was great schools nearby. We had one of the latest schools where the walls in the hallway were glass, and the principal could peer in as a one-way glass. The kids couldn't see out the glass, but you could see in. And the purpose of that was to, well, I think you could see out. I shouldn't say that. You could see out. It was a two-way glass, but it was the state art school. They had special boards, electronic boards, instead of the old chalk and blackboards. They had the latest things there. So anyway, my children were in really great hands. Unfortunately, this went on for 5 years, and they decided to get a policeman to come and open up the house. Now, I did not know about the laws of CPS. I did not know about my constitutional rights. So a detective followed me and had one of his black and whites pull me over for alleged traffic ticket. It was a falsified traffic. It was so they would stop me, and then I would talk to the um, person following me. And so he said he was a detective. He wasn't in uniform, and he ordered me to come back home. It wasn't, can you please come? We need to see your home. It's like, you're going to go back home. I said, my wife needs to be picked up, and I want her a part of it. I did not know at the time. I could have said, I need my lawyer present. If this is a legal matter, you're entitled by your constitution to have your lawyer present. So it was really tough because I didn't know what to do. But at that time, I thought I could trust the government. I thought I could trust the police, and I thought I could trust the social worker. So I followed him. I just had picking up my young son in 2015. Now he was 10 years or 9 years old at the time. He was born in 2005, and this was now 2015. So it's roughly 9 years old. And he was scared. He was horrified. You see, these people are very intimidating. When you see a policeman in combat gear, and when we approached our home, and I lived in a very exclusive private neighborhood. We have CCRs. The homes are 7-digit homes, and we live about a mile from the beach. So out there was a fire truck. There were 5 firemen. There was a code enforcement uniform officers, 2 of them, 3 social workers. There was 2 uniformed policemen, and then of course the detective. They're all standing in front of my home. It was unbelievable. It's like I thought maybe that I had drugs or this was there. I cannot believe all this was coming down. And I should have said, I'm not letting anybody in until I have my attorney present. They'd have to have a warrant. And I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that. And it was a horrible, horrible experience. And none of the professionals cared that I had a little 9-year-old boy trembling and scared. None of them. My other children were in school. I have 6 children. I had 3 of them still living at home. The other 3 had grown up and moved away. But the 3 young ones were still living at home. and two of them were in school. One was in a private high school, the other one was in middle school. And of course, my youngest was still in elementary school. And so it was a traumatic experience. They don't care. And so I opened the house. We had nothing to share. So the code enforcement people went looking for something, and all they came up with was that my front fence was loose and screws needed tightening. Also said the yard needed some pruning. And I said, well, I lost my job and I had no money for my landscaper anymore, and I had to take care of myself. And because of my age, I was a little bit older, it's hard for me to do all these things. So that's what they found. The fire people never found anything wrong. They checked the smoke detectors. They saw my fire extinguishers. They saw the door to the swimming pool was locked, and it had three different kinds of lock mechanisms on it. There was also a fenced in around the pool so no one could get in there. It was locked. And so that part was safe. The firemen found nothing. The two uniformed policemen, all they did is did sightseeing. One went upstairs, or all of them went upstairs, and their boots, they had combat boots and tracked dirt and everything. He stand on my bamboo furniture and broke it. He didn't care. They left footprints on my white cushions. They, destroyed the house, made it look worse. They just didn't care. The social workers uh, were terrible. There was, it seemed of the three of them, no, I don't know who was in charge, who was doing what. They were trying to find something. They had nothing on me. They'd already been visiting. So what they did finally come up with is that unfortunately my parents had passed away, and I promised them with their belongings that I'd take them to my house, sort them, and send them off to family and friends. My problem was I used the living room as a sorting area. And I wish I had money at the time and could have got a big area to sort and store the items. I could have got a warehouse, but I didn't have the money. I mean, to get a warehouse, it cost me maybe $4,000 where I could separate the things and sort them. And losing your mother and father is a tragedy too. They didn't care. They didn't care. Well, they said, well, the boxes are stacked too high. They may fall on your child. Or the furniture's stacked. Now, the reason why the furniture's stacked, the boxes are stacked, I was trying to use space. I didn't want the whole house to be inundated. So I had it in the living room. I had it in the living room. So that's what they charged me, is that they were saying is making a danger to the kids. Me and my wife were making a danger to the kids because of my parents' belongings. There's nothing in the rooms. The rooms were spotless. They were clean. They had beds to sleep on. They had food in the refrigerator to eat. There's a food preparation area. There's a family room with a TV to watch or play video games. There was a formal dining room where they could sit down and eat dinner. There was the hallway. The downstairs bedroom was a library and a computer room. There was a downstairs bathroom, as I say, the yard. It was terrible. It was terrible. And it got worse and worse because I opened up and told them everything. And I told them I lost my job. I'm looking for another one. But they wanted the children because they got $20,000 per child, $60,000. And that money was used for bonuses too. That money was used for bonuses. So they took my children, put them in a shelter. The shelter was next to the Orange County Juvenile Prison. So the kids in the play yard could talk to the juvenile prisoners. Also, the play yard had bee nests and kids were getting stung. The place itself was dirty. There was cockroaches and rats. The food was terrible. And on top of that, their idea of school was reading a book. Now, my son was in a high-tech high school. And my other kids, they're in a high-tech middle school and a high-tech elementary school. And they're on their way to pursue professional things. So they didn't have that. So for 4 days, they were kept at that shelter. Finally, on the last day, we were able to have a chance for my kids to stay with my wife's sister and husband. They said they'd watch the kids. So that was a relief. They weren't put into foster care stuff. But that didn't last long because the my wife's sister and husband saw how much work it was taking 3 kids to school, all the needs, AYSO soccer, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts. There's all these activities that we had these kids involved in. They were burnt out. They weren't as old as I was. They were the same age as my sister, my wife, and they're in their 50s, but they're burned out. It's hard for taking care of children when you're later in life. I'm just blessed with good health and good genes and so forth. So anyway, they took them into foster care, and I'll have to resume that later because my time is up. I will be on again today at 1 p.m. at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, I'm on 3 times a day, 8 in the morning, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and 6 o'clock at night, all Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast of California. So I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank Lisa for being in my room. And I want to thank, we had a new person from San Bernardino who's going to get hold of Mr. Davis. And so I can't take the call right now. Willie's calling. I can't take the call. And we had Darlene Denton Clark. And you're from Doreen, but thank you very much. And I hope that you guys will come back in again. I hope you guys come back in again. And Rachel Strokes, who's from San Bernardino. God bless you. There'll be a video that you'll see. There'll be a short video that you see after my show. All right. I'm signing off. Bob Pace signing off.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last one.